There is a man everyone fears, and no one can explain why. He never raises his voice. He never begs for approval. He never chases anyone who walks away. And yet, the moment he stops needing you, you cannot stop needing to understand him. This is the danger Machiavelli understood 500 years before psychology gave it a name. The man who needs nothing cannot be bought, cannot be manipulated, cannot be controlled. And in a world built entirely on leverage, that makes him the most dangerous person in the room. Think about how power actually works between people. Not the power of titles or money, but the quiet power that decides who bends and who doesn't. Every relationship, every negotiation, every family, every friendship runs on need. Someone needs approval, someone needs love, someone needs to be seen, and whoever needs less controls the exchange. This is not cynicism. This is the architecture of human behavior, and Machiavelli built his entire understanding of power on this one brutal truth. Now imagine a man who needs nothing from you. Not your validation, not your comfort, not your presence. What do you do with a person like that? You cannot threaten him because he isn't afraid of losing you. You cannot guilt him because he doesn't need your forgiveness. You cannot flatter him because he doesn't crave your admiration. Every tool people use to control each other becomes useless in his hands, and that is exactly why he terrifies them. Most people spend their entire lives building invisible chains around others. A parent who needs their child to need them forever, a partner who needs constant reassurance to feel safe, a friend who needs agreement to feel valued. These chains feel like love, like loyalty, like connection, but underneath, they are leashes. And the moment someone refuses to wear the leash, the whole system panics. This is why the self-sufficient man is not celebrated. He is resented because his freedom exposes everyone else's dependence. His silence is not empty, it is a mirror, and people hate mirrors that show them the truth about their own weakness. Machiavelli never believed in the fantasy of a world ruled by kindness alone. He watched real rulers, real courts, real betrayals, and he understood something most people refuse to accept. Love is unreliable because love depends on the mood, the ego, the wound of another person. But independence is unshakable because it depends on nothing outside of you. A prince who needs the approval of his people can be manipulated by fear or flattery. But a prince who needs nothing from them rules from a place no one can reach. This is not about being cold. This is about removing the leverage other people use against you, one hidden string at a time. Now here is where it gets uncomfortable. Ask yourself honestly, how many of your decisions today were shaped by a need to be liked? How many times did you stay silent because you needed someone's approval? How many times did you say yes when your entire body wanted to say no? Every one of those moments was a tiny surrender of power, and the world is full of people quietly surrendering every single day without even noticing. This is why the self-sufficient man is dangerous. Not because he wants to hurt anyone, but because he has already stopped playing the game everyone else is trapped in. He has nothing to lose, so he cannot be threatened. He wants nothing from you, so he cannot be manipulated. He fears no rejection, so he cannot be shamed into obedience. But here is the twist most people miss. This kind of strength is not born from arrogance. It is born from pain. Nobody starts life needing nothing. Every person begins soft, hopeful, hungry for connection. The man who needs no one was not born detached. He was forged that way, usually through betrayal, disappointment, or the slow, brutal realization that the people he trusted the most were the same people who hurt him the deepest. Machiavelli's greatest insight was not about power for the sake of power. It was about survival in a world where loyalty is often a performance and love is often conditional. He wasn't teaching cruelty, he was teaching self-protection in a world that rarely protects the innocent. So when a man builds walls so high that no one can manipulate him anymore, understand what actually happened. He tried the soft way first. He gave trust, and it was used against him. He gave loyalty, and it was betrayed. He gave love, and it was weaponized. And one day, quietly, without announcement, He decided never to hand anyone that kind of power over him again. This is the origin of the most feared kind of person, the one who needs nothing, because he has already survived the pain of needing too much. Here is the deeper truth most people never confront. Every person who tries to control you is secretly terrified of a version of you that doesn't need them. That is why independence provokes anger before it earns respect. Because your freedom threatens their illusion of power over you. Watch how people react when someone stops chasing them. Suddenly, that same person becomes interesting, mysterious, even threatening. Not because they changed who they are, but because they stopped feeding a need. And the moment you stop feeding someone's control, they either grow or they attack. There is rarely an in-between. Machiavelli understood this dynamic in politics, but it plays out in bedrooms, boardrooms, and family dinners every single day. The parent who cannot control their adult child anymore feels rage disguised as concern. The manipulative partner who loses influence over someone feels rejection disguised as heartbreak. The false friend who can no longer use your loyalty feels betrayed, when in truth they simply lost a tool they were using without you realizing it. This is the hidden war beneath ordinary life. Not armies, not kings, just quiet battles over who controls whom, fought in tone of voice, guilt, silence, and emotional pressure. And the person who needs nothing wins this war without even trying, simply by refusing to play. But do not mistake this for coldness or isolation. The most dangerous man is not the man who hates people. He is the man who chooses people, deliberately, without desperation. He gives loyalty because he decides to, not because he fears losing something. He gives love because he wants to, not because he's terrified of being alone. This distinction changes everything. Desperation invites exploitation. Choice invites respect. This is the brutal lesson hidden inside Machiavelli's philosophy. Power does not come from being loved by everyone. It comes from needing no one's permission to be who you are. The world will call this arrogance when it's really discipline. It will call this cruelty when it's really self-respect. It will call this dangerous when it's really freedom. And maybe that's the final truth no one wants to admit. The most dangerous person in any room isn't the loudest, the richest, or the most aggressive. It's the one who has nothing left for anyone to take. Because once a person no longer needs your approval, your love, your comfort, or your permission, you lose every ounce of control you thought you had over them. So ask yourself, are you controlling your life, or is your desperate need for others quietly controlling you? Because the moment you stop needing permission to exist as you are, you become exactly what Machiavelli warned the world about. Not a villain, not a monster, just a person, too free to be controlled and too dangerous to ignore.